How's it going, guys? I'm doing a new series. This is the first video of that series where we're going to work on making you guys some alerts, some overlays, webcam frames, all sorts of stuff that you can do for free and you can do yourself. It's a lot easier than you think. So let's get into it, okay? First thing you're going to do, download Davinci Resolve. I will throw a link down in the description to where to get the software from. It's from Blackmagic. Phenomenal software. It's a great free alternative to After Effects and Final Cut Pro, Sony Vegas. Is it Sony now? I think it's Vegas. Vega Studio? Something like that. I've never used it, so I don't even know what the heck it's called. But it's completely free. There is like a $200 or $300 version that does a bunch of stuff with like servers, and there's all sorts of extra like effects and stuff that you don't necessarily need for the purposes of what we're doing. If you're a streamer and you're starting out, or a YouTuber and you're starting out, and you want to create overlays or you want to use it as editing software, it is not only a composition creator, but it's also a great editing tool. It has an awesome audio editor, so you can mess with your levels, recoloring. I mean, it goes beyond even my knowledge. I've been using it for quite some time, and I've learned quite a bit. And I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to start out with a face cam overlay. If you look at my face cam, not in this video, but when I stream, which, reminder, I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Links down in the description. Come check it out. Also, if this video ends up helping you out, make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So let's get started. Face cam overlay, I'm going to hit create. I've opened up Davinci Resolve and we're going. I know this looks a little scary at first, right? It looks super scary. What I like to do is I immediately, when I start a brand new project, I go straight to the edit tab. Down here, you've got a bunch of little tabs, okay? I go straight to the edit tab. I go to file and I go to project settings. Now here is where all of your project settings live. Now, most of what we do in the gaming world is 60 frames a second. So the first thing I do is I change that to 60 frames a second because that's the timeline frame. And I change the playback frame rate also to 60 frames per second. Okay. Then I hit save and I'm good to go. Now, what I want to do in the edit tab is you want to be in this media pool section, and we'll get to some of this other stuff later, but you want to make sure you have media pool highlighted, and you can simply right click right here and you're going to create a new fusion composition. Fusion is essentially, look at it like After Effects, but it works way different. So we're just going to call this face cam. We're going to make it 10 seconds long. So, that's one too many. We're going to make it 10 seconds long. 10 seconds long, 60 frames a second. So, create. All right. Then what you want to do is drag this down into your editing timeline. Okay. Now you've got your timeline. So any kind of other videos that you wanted to, if we were editing a YouTube video, this would be where you would pull your recordings down into here, and this is where you would see it. But for these purposes, for this tutorial, we're just going to stick to creating the fusion composition, making it 10 seconds, 60 frames a second, and then we're going to drag it down into here. Highlight this, go over to the fusion tab. Okay. This is now going to get you into the fusion, which is where you create composition. So this is where it's more like After Effects. Okay. Your media out is essentially what is being sent out after everything you do to it. Okay, so this is your final product. What I like to do is I like to drag media out into here. You have two different screens here. So this is a preview screen, and then I use this as a final screen. Okay. First thing you want to do is right here, you can click this little button, and you want to create a background. Okay, so I've got a background. If I simply connect this to this, the background is going to show up there. Our background is currently black. Let's just say we want it red. See how it turns red. And for these purposes, we're going to make it a gradient. Gradient is when you transition from one color to another, from left to right. See? So we're going to make it a gradient. And as you can see, it's nifty. I'm going to Control Z to bring back these defaults, okay? And you pick your two colors. So you highlight these two little triangles down here. Okay, so we're going to pick the first triangle, and we're going to make that one yellow. Okay, so first triangle is going to be yellow. I don't know, a little bit. That's a little bit darker. Second triangle, I think I'm going to go like a blue. Yeah, let's do a Laker. I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a Bucks fan. Sorry, Milwaukee Bucks all the way. But we're going to do yellow going into blue. You can see a little bit of a purple in there because the purple is coming into the blue. So you kind of look at this guy. You can change the opacity, but we're going to do a real simple yellow transitioning into blue. Obviously, there's a little bit of purple. Okay. You can change the direction in which the gradient is going. So if I hit Control and mouse wheel down, I can zoom out and zoom in using the mouse wheel. But I want the gradient to go from one corner to the other corner. Okay. Now you can really see like this neat little separation. I personally like things to be like on an angle or off center, not necessarily, perfect half and half. You could move this over that way more and over this way more and really play around with it. So kind of play around with this gradient. You can add more gradients. If I simply click anywhere on this line, you can see a little plus sign. So I could add a gradient. Let's say I want another color in between there. I want to do this aqua or maybe a green, right? And then I want to put another one here and I want that to be red. So you can see you've got all these different gradients. Now I'm going to remove those two by just Control Z and essentially do the undo button. So there we've got our basic colors, right? And we've got 600 frames in our 10 seconds, because it's 60 frames a second, 10 seconds, 600 frames. Okay, kind of keep that in mind as you're playing around. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to create a mask, and that mask is going to hide everything except what we want to see. So for us, we're going to disconnect this, and we're going to bring the rectangle tool here down like so. Actually, we can keep that connected. Okay, and we're going to connect the rectangle tool to the background. Now you see what happened? Everything else except what lives in the rectangle disappeared. I want my rectangle to be, I don't know, bigger. So we can make it a little bit bigger, the height and the width. You could select, make sure your rectangle selected. And what I like to do is you can use these little circles down here. The right circle is the right screen, the left circle is the left screen. So I'm going to use this one, and I can see now I'm working with the rectangle, not with the background. Stay with me, because I can play with just the background. I can, so there's lots of things I can do. I want to make this bigger. Okay. So let's up the height and the width, right? A little bit bigger to increase its size, because this isn't big enough, right? I want a nice big, sure, that looks good. Now, one thing I do wish that this did was, let's make these the same. So let's go 0.8, because it does keep the aspect ratio if you make them the same, because they both started at 0.5. So it's taking up 80% of the the screen, right? So the next thing I want to do is I want to switch it from a solid to a line. Okay, solid fills in. So now you're using it as a fill. This converts it to a stroke. Okay, and we can up the border. Let's say 0.1, and I tab. That's pretty big, right? So let's try 0.01. Nice, thin webcam border. 0.19. That looks pretty good. Not quite 2. Not quite 2 points or 2/10, or actually 2/100. Anyway, I don't even think that's right. Math is hard right now. So now you can kind of see that I've got this neat gradient background, right? Pretty cool. Pretty freaking cool. By the way I'm doing this, you hold Control and Shift, and then you can click around in there. You can move it around, and then obviously Control to zoom in and out. So this is pretty neat, right? That's super cool. Now we want to animate it. We want the gradient to move somehow. Okay? So what you do is you make sure you have your background node selected. And the way I do it, and I'm sure there's other ways, but the way that I do it that works really well for me is I use the offset. So I'm going to keyframe. Keyframe means that the software is going to remember your values for that particular setting for that frame. Okay? So I'm going to keyframe my very first keyframe. It is remembering that my offset at the very beginning of the video is set to 0. Then what I like to do is I take the little slider and I move all the way down to the end of the video, and I set my keyframe. Which way do you want it to go? Do you want it to go left to right? Do you want it to go right to left? You have to kind of pick. Okay? And that will set your keyframe. So I need to go back to the beginning though. Hang on a second. Actually, no, I don't. I can go here. So what I like to do is this repeat. I set the repeat to repeat because as it offsets, it restarts, and it almost gives you that. You see how it's starting over and starting over and starting. You see the motion that we're having there? So you have to figure out how many times in 10 seconds do you want this to loop through the offset. So let's say we made this a 1. We want one full loop, okay? And if we now play this, it's gonna play a little choppy the first time. It's gonna play a little choppy the first time. But you can see we went in a positive number. So positive is gonna take the offset for the purposes of visualization from left to right. Okay, see? And it's starting again, and it's gonna go from left, and it's gonna offset to right. If I had gone -1, it would start up here and work its way this way. So that's you can play with that with the offset however you want. But as you can see, that is essentially an animated webcam frame. It's that simple. Now I could make it do this faster. I mean, that does seem a little slow. I could set that to be a faster keyframe. So what we can do is we can go back to frame 600, which is or 599. And the way I'm doing that is to the left of your number pad, you have your up, down, left, and right arrows. That's where you move the left and the right, and you can be on a specific frame. Okay, so we're going to change this keyframe, and we're going to go -2. We're going to go in the opposite direction and double its speed. Okay, and let's see what that looks like. Now, it's going to take it a second because it has to render. I always remember that. It's got to render. But let's see. So there, halfway through, it's going to start again. As soon as it hit 300, it started again because it's going through 2 rotations of the offset over a 10-second period. So I think that's pretty cool. So there you are. There is an animated webcam border, essentially. You can then put, and before this video is over, we're going to go into how to get this into OBS and keep the All right, so we're back on the Edit tab. I just wanted to show you guys what this looks like as it's going to render as it plays. This is essentially how it's going to look, and we're going to let it do a little bit of rendering. It's got to kind of catch up to itself. Keep in mind your graphics card is really what determines how fast this process happens. The better your graphics card, the quicker it's going to render through all this stuff. But this is your real simple, pretty cool gradient. If I hit the repeat, you're going to see it just keeps going. And because we did a full rotation twice, you don't see like a glitch or a moment where it restarts. It just keeps looping through, which gives you that animated effect. So we're going to stop this. we're going to go to the Deliver tab. This is where you essentially export your project, creating the transparent background. That is the hard part here. And it's not even the hard part. It's the part that there isn't a lot of information out there with Davinci Resolve on how to do this correctly. So this is what I've done. It works really well for me. Hit custom, name it whatever you want to name it. So we're going to call it Facecam. And we're going to put it in a location. So I've got a videos location, but I don't want to put it there. I got a video stuff, so I put a bunch of stuff in here. I don't already have one named Facecam, do I? Okay, so no. Okay, so Facecam, we can hit save, and I can rename it Facecam tutorial, just in case. So there, it's going to go in my box. That way it's in the cloud for me and I can save it. You want to pick individual clips. Now we only have one clip, so that doesn't really, you'd think, what does that change, right? It's super important. We'll get to that in a second. The format is, sorry, you want to pick QuickTime as your format. Very important. Your codec, uncompressed. Okay. For now, we're going to pick uncompressed. And we are going to pick BGRA, because A is for the alpha channel. ARGB, for some reason, doesn't work. BGRA does seem to work really well for me. Okay, so QuickTime, uncompressed, BGRA 8-bit, and you want to pick this export alpha. And then this alpha mode, switch it to straight. And those are your settings, okay? Very, very important settings. So I'm going to leave this here just so you can look at it. File name, whatever you want to call it. Where do you want to save it? Individual clips. QuickTime, uncompressed, BGRA 8-bit. Export alpha, straight. Okay. Add that to render queue, sitting here, and let's start the render. Won't take long. It's only 10 seconds. Okay. So now it's rendered. It's sitting in my save folder. Now comes the magic where we take this and turn it into a WebM file with a transparent background and then get it into OBS. So we're going to jump into a website where there's going to be a tiny program you're going to install on your machine, which is going to allow you to take any .mov, which is what a QuickTime file is. It'll any MOV and compress it down into a WebM file. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. That way you don't have to rely on some website that you have to upload your videos to, especially with these uncompressed videos. They're massive, and a lot of those sites that convert it for you for free won't do these videos this size. So I'm going to give you guys, that's my box software is just freaking out because it doesn't, it's a really big file, so it's just letting me know. Anyway, you won't have to go to a website. You will literally be able to click on a batch file that I'm going to throw in the comments, or throw a link to, which I'll have to, I guess, keep in my Discord or something. But I'll throw a link to that along with instructions on how to get it to work. So let's jump over to Chrome, and I'll take you guys to that website. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is install a program called Ffmpeg. This essentially will allow you to convert your uncompressed .mov file into a WebM file. Ffmpeg is an open source video converting software. It's actually used in the program called Handbrake, which I think a lot of people are pretty familiar with. But Handbrake, I was not able to get Handbrake to do this properly, but this works guaranteed for sure. So you're going to go to this site, the WikiHow on how to install Ffmpeg on Windows. Okay, this is going to make your life way easier, and if you plan on making lots of alerts and lots of overlays, you're going to use this quite a bit. So I'm going to put this down in the description along with this link to actually download Ffmpeg. So, and we're going to go through this, essentially, we're going to go through this how-to get this installed so that you can get your finished composition into something that OBS or Stream Elements or Streamlabs or whatever your software is can use. So let's go here. We're going to download Ffmpeg. I am on Windows 64-bit. I keep it on static. It doesn't matter. I keep this version. I leave all of this alone and I just hit download build. Okay, very, very, very quick. The next thing you're going to want to do is right click and hit extract, and it's going to extract it right in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit extract. Boom. No biggie. Okay. If we go in here, these are the files. Now the first thing, super important, I recommend you do is you right click, you rename this, and you call it just Ffmpeg. Now I'm going to delete all of this because I've already done this step. Okay. So delete it, or don't delete it, sorry. Rename it Ffmpeg, just like this. Capital F, MPEG. Put it on your root. Put it on the root of your C drive. Super important. And in fact, in the wiki that we were just on, they tell you to do this. So if you follow that wiki step by step, you're going to end up at this point. So if I click in here, Ffmpeg, there's all of those files, right? So rename it, drag it onto the root of your C drive or your D drive, whatever your main drive on your computer is. For most of us, it's the C drive. Okay. So drag that into there. We're going to go back to the WikiHow instructions and just go through this. Download it. Tells you to download which build. Okay. You're going to then extract the files. Okay. Once it's extracted, it tells you right there, see, rename it Ffmpeg. Super important. Okay. So you got that, rename it, you extract, you rename it, blah, 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 and away you go. So right here it says, click the folder once selected, click the home button at the top of the window, click rename the organized section of the toolbar, type Ffmpeg, press enter. That renames it, okay? Then they have you copy and then paste it in your C drive. So you can literally just follow this. I've already done all of this, so you can go right through it, copy this, all of that. Away you go and paste it. Okay. Once that's done, it's on your C drive. Now we need to enable it. Now we need to make it something that Windows understands and Windows knows how to work with. Okay. So we're going to go to, let's see here, this PC. And so if I hit, how was this again? Computer. Okay. And then I go to properties. Okay. I'm literally just following along. Advanced system settings. Okay. Go down. Environmental variables. Okay. Let's go down even more. Let's move this over. And then right here, the path file, you want to edit that. Okay. And then you're going to hit new. And literally all you're going to do is C drive, Ffmpeg /bin, and then you're going to hit OK. And it tells you to do that right here. Click that, hit edit, hit new. So let's close all this out so you guys can kind of see this. So new, right here. So you click this one, hit edit, hit new, C drive, Ffmpeg /bin. Okay. Easiest way to go about doing that, if you want to make sure you don't screw up in typing it, what I like to do is I go in here, I go in here like this, I go like this, and then if you click up here, you see what it did, and then I Control C right here, and then I Control V that into the into here. Okay. Once you've got that pasted, you hit OK. Now Ffmpeg is a recognized program in Windows, and you can test it by opening up a command prompt. Okay, run as administrator, and you simply type Ffmpeg / version, and it will then, and I'm going to show you, CMD, and if I go like this, and I just copy this over, copy, and I go to my command prompt and I paste that, you're going to see that I have a version. Okay. So very important. That's step one. Okay. The next thing we need to do is I am going to, in my Discord, again, link is down in the description. In my Discord, I have a batch file that I call move to WebM. Okay. What that does, we can move to WebM is going to very simply take any, and if you put this batch file in the same files that you exported your project, so there's our Facecam tutorial. Okay. If I double click this, it's going to automatically search out this folder that it lives in for any MOV file and automatically convert it to a WebM. So I'm going to show you guys how this works. Double click. It's going to do some things. Doing some things. It's going to take it a second. And then you're going to see momentarily that I will have a new, right there, Facecam tutorial WebM file. But we got to wait till this is done before it's complete. And that is pretty much the simplest way right now that I can find that's absolutely free that you can make your own animated Facecam border or alerts, whatever you want to animate. You can do it all in Davinci Resolve. You can do it with a transparent background. As long as you do what I just showed you, download Ffmpeg, run over to my Discord, grab the web to MOV to WebM file that I have sitting in my design stuff channel, along with a link to this website, to the wiki how on how to do this. And as you can see, it's right there. There's the Facecam that we created and now converted into a WebM file that OBS can now handle and deal with. From here, we can bring it into OBS, we can bring it into Stream Elements, we can bring it into Streamlabs. So I use Stream Elements, so I'm going to really quickly show you guys how to bring this Facecam into Stream Elements. So let's go do that right now. Alright guys, here we are on Stream Elements. I created a quick tutorial scene to show you guys how to bring in that that cool animated webcam frame we just created. So what you want to do in Stream Elements is you want to add, and essentially it's a static, and we're going to add a video. So static custom, and this is under the newest Stream Elements, which is, you know, as of today, May 22nd, 2020. So add your video, and then from here you can change its portion and size. So we're going to do the 1920 by 1080 because that's how big our frame is, right? So you want to match, you want to try to match the your original creation. Now if you're going to do several, you know, some people take one Stream Elements scene and they put a bunch of stuff in there. You could do that, but you can still, and you can just resize this later to fit your stream however you see fit. This I'm going to do really basic, a 1920 by 1080 Stream Elements scene. You can click this now and you go to settings, change video, and at this point, here are the webcam frames I use today. Yours probably won't look quite like this. So if you hit upload, it will allow you to bring in a file from your computer. So now if I go to my video stuff and I go to my, what is it, my tutorial? What is it? Facecam tutorial WebM file, right? That's the file we created. And it's going to upload that. Shouldn't take real long. It's a very small file, but there it is. So then you hit submit and there we go. And now we've got our custom made webcam frame that's animated, and look how nice and smooth that runs. It goes from that nice yellow to a little bit of purple to blue. Really cool, really cool little effect. And what you could do with this is you could literally take this same file in Davinci Resolve the way we made it, and if you change those 2 points to 2 other colors, let's say you want to do, for followers you want purple, so you do two versions of purple, and then you record that, and then you put that on an alerts overlay, and that's one of your variants, and then you make another color, and that's another variant for maybe a sub alert, and so on and so forth. And that's how you can create that you know, changing webcam frame, where every time someone subscribes or follows or hosts or raid or donates or cheers. It will go on top of this and completely change color, and it will make it look like your webcam frame is reacting to the things happening within your stream. It's going to react to your viewers. So when someone subs, it's going to react. It's going to change color. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, his webcam frame isn't blue and purple anymore, or blue and yellow. Sorry. Now it's purple. And now it's red, and now it's yellow or whatever. And you can create so many different variants of this for different amounts of cheers or amounts of donations, whatever you want to do. But this I just wanted to do a really quick basic webcam frame animation that you could do right now, absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. You don't have to pay for any software, and you can get this going on your stream today and improve your stream and make yourself look like a little bit more of a pro streamer without spending a crap load of money. So anyway, I'm going to save this, and from here you take the browser source by clicking right here. It says copy overlay URL. You create that as a browser source in OBS, and that brings this in. The other way you could do it is you could just bring the video into OBS, but I find using the browser sources it's a little less taxing on your computer. So if your computer isn't quite powerful enough to do a ton of rendering and a ton of processing, let the web browser do the processing for you. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Come over to my Twitch. Come hang out with me. Let's stream, come hang out while I'm streaming. Say hi. Ask questions. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about this, or you want me to do other stuff, other tutorials, you can let me know. Come, or come give me a hard time, whatever. Ask questions. Let's just hang out. So like I said, I stream over on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Also, if this was helpful and you had a good time and you learned something today, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, because it helps us out big time. The way I end all of my streams, as always, I'll catch you guys next time.